Okay.
All right, it's official.
All right, we're going.
Thank you for coming.
Well, yeah, my unpleasure.
Your unpleasure. I had to talk you into it.
Yeah.
I was
forced
like,
me.
we're gonna do artist talks. You're like, no, I'm good. We're completely good.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't need to do that.
Did you have fun at the show last night?
Oh, yeah, the show was great.
It's a rhetorical question. I always know you have fun.
The show was great.
Yeah.
And someone had fun because there are empty wine glasses in the restroom.
Oh, were they still in the restroom? Wow, we really got to get on that. Honestly, it was a great turnout. Obviously, it was a holiday weekend, so you never know how those are going to do. But
it was a good turnout.
Yeah,
I
it was
didn't
really
expect it because of the holiday, but I did miss the resident artists because
Yes.
they always add a little panache.
It's
to
one of the best places. It's one of the best things about this place is it's a little bit of a hybrid space.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
we miss them too, but at the same time,
Sure, everybody's got their own lives.
I don't understand why it doesn't revolve around the gallery.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
No, I was really excited for some of it ended up being a very photography heavy show.
I noticed that.
And it wasn't intentional, it was just the work that's coming out.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's probably the most photography you've had.
I think so.
And I think maybe the most eclectic show that you've had.
For a while.
Yeah, because you have a little bit of everything. You know, you've got realism in the African portraits.
Yes.
And you've got some surrealism in the octopus, which everybody loves.
Which is our favorite.
Yeah.
Which we almost didn't get, but it is our favorite.
And then let's see, we have some surrealism.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Edgar's sort of sci-fi surrealistic pieces, which everybody's just goes crazy over.
It really, he's so cool.
He got to talk about his work a lot last night.
Yeah.
People were really interested in those pieces.
I agree.
And you know, you have some got some abstract work and
and we have you.
Yeah, me. I'm not sure what it is, but
well, you know,
abstract.
I felt like I always obviously. How long have we been working together now?
At least 10 years. Yeah,
that's crazy to think. That's at least 10 years. Well, I just, you know, my goal this year is to make sure that my represented artists. I want to get back into consistency. You know, I know you exist. I know you're there. I know that artwork's there, but like, I'm finding that, especially the way with the market is, that being able to have that consistency, you know, like when somebody comes, they know they're going to see your work. You know, they don't have to ask, or they're just excited. And if something doesn't call to them this time, the idea is it'll call to them next time.
It happened last night because a couple approached me and a lady said, "Oh, as soon as I saw your name, I recognized it because I know that you've been in other shows." And then they mentioned the solo show, you know, the mid-century modern architecture.
Asteroid City?
Yeah, Asteroid City. And so they asked, well, how did you make the progression from the architectural work to this, you know, this? And I say, well, it's not really a progression.
No.
You know, it's kind of like a hop to the side.
Yeah.
Right? Because I do all this stuff simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, you were a painter first.
I was a painter many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you are a multidisciplinary artist, there is a part of you that will, you know, if you have a background in painting, that's going to come out in your photography as well.
It does. It does. And I found that when I was first doing photography, which was actually something that I learned because I needed to.
I was going to say, give us a little background. We've known each other so long.
I know.
Other people might not know you.
Right.
Yeah. Give us a little background really quick.
This is when everybody freezes up. Did you ever notice that? Right? Don't they? Yeah. You say, introduce yourself. Yeah. Right.
It's a tough
then
one.
They go like deer in the headlights and they forget their name. They don't know their name anymore. No. Yeah. So anyway, yes, I actually was a writer, journalist, and I needed to learn photography. I'm really self-taught. I needed to learn photography because of the stories I was writing, and, you know, I needed to provide that. I didn't always have a photographer that I was able to work with. So I thought, no, I've got to be able to produce my own photos to go with these articles that I'm doing. So, so I learned photography, and basically it was photojournalism. And but I found very quickly that I was quite good at it, because I think having some background in art, and having been a painter, I knew already about composition and color, and it just came, as kind of like instinctive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that had really helped me as far as my photography was concerned.
Right.
And I did documentary photography for most of my working career, to illustrate the stories that I was doing as a journalist and freelance writer and stuff. So, and then I started transitioning into fine art photography. And that was actually quite by accident, because I had never framed my work or anything like that. It was just, I did it. It was illustrating. It was in magazines and newspapers, um, and a friend of mine who's an artist had a gallery, and he was doing shows, and he says, "Oh, I'd really like to show some of your work." And it was my African work, which intrigued me, because you have the African photos, the portraits along the wall, and I thought, "Oh, really?" So I framed some pieces and put them up, and they were a hit. And then another friend of mine said, "Oh, you should submit your work to this place, this gallery." So I did that, and then first thing you know, I was showing in galleries. It was mostly my journalistic work, though. My photojournalism about cultures, a lot of the African work, and other things too. And after a while, I started feeling like I wanted to do something more.
Yeah.
And I expanded into the fine art world, fine art photography world, which was conceptual work, which was, all the different things that photography can be. And and then all of a sudden I was an artist again. I mean, in a different way, know. And because I still think about going back to being a painter and all that, these came to mind. It's just like, yeah, I like those, but I really like to.
I did specifically ask where you were hiding them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to and I typically don't show older work.
Yeah.
However, again, trying to keep in with my represented artists and making sure they're showing consistently. Sometimes you don't have 20 new pieces every show, right? So let's try to circle back on some of the stuff that maybe just needs to be seen again.
Yeah.
Especially the years you were producing these, nobody's open, right? These are from 2020, so it's a kind of that year was just nothing was getting out.
Right.
So
exactly.
I think it's nice to have them sort of
definitely.
They
haven't
really
been seen much.
They don't feel like they're from 2020. They do feel very relevant.
Right.
I felt like when I saw those, and this one specifically, Torso, I know is Gil's favorite.
Yeah.
And actually when I asked Rodrigo, I go, which one of Janet's do you think we should put up? And this was the very first one he said. So I think this one is definitely the highlight out of the four that we have. But it was when I saw this, that was a little bit of the influence to pick several of the other pieces in the show, because I was able to play off of this. It was, it's very well executed. And then you have the gold in there, of course, which it actually reflects a little bit. So I hope it comes through,
cool.
But it was a way for me. I feel like your artwork is always so influential. Not obviously, you're just making art to make art, right? But I've shown you so many times that I get it. It helps me. I'm looking at other people's artwork and I'm like, that's going to pair well with Janet's. Like, I know that's going to be good, And it is really, you're always, I always feel like you're an anchor in a lot of ways, because, and like you said, somebody was like, oh yeah, you've been here before,
Yes.
But yeah, definitely. And then of course I had you on your wall again, but but we were able to add a new wall.
I know, that was cool. Yeah, I came in, I was really surprised to see.
I keep telling her I've always shown her on the same wall.
Yeah.
And it's not on purpose. It's just the way that the installation goes.
Yeah.
For some reason, hers is always there. And I thought, oh, it'll be good to break it up, So that was nice.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but this series specifically, I love. It's a different application.
Yeah,
you've got some different elements in there. It is mixed media photography, but it really it's it's not quite abstract, but it, you know,
Yeah.
it has that
Right.
tendency to
Right.
it. And I know you made these in 2020. What were you at that time when you were making these pieces? Because it is a little bit, to use your words, a sidestep.
Yeah.
You know, what were you doing, if you can remember, that year that this was happening?
I'm not really, I don't know what actually influenced me to do that. I think it was just the desire to get back to painting in a way. And so I had made these, and I'd put them on canvas as an experiment. I normally don't really care for photographs on canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And they seemed rather plain. And I thought, nah, you know, maybe I can do something with this.
Yeah.
So I got my paints out, and then, and I put sand, you know, there's sand on here too, so it has texture.
It adds so much to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
there's
think it
sand
completely
and
changed it.
acrylic paint and gold, copper, and silver leaf, and some gold paint too.
Yeah.
I have these cans, two cans. One is silver leaf, one is gold leaf. Oh, I'll take a glass of water here. I think I talked too much last night.
It was a lot.
It was like nonstop, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I have these old cans of paint, and they belong to Gil's aunties. They were artists, and they're super old, you know, like really kind of decrepit old cans.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened them up. I want to tell you, it was like a toxic spill. It was super toxic, right? I had to put a mask on.
Oh, wow.
And I put some of it on here. I'm sure it's not toxic once it's on here, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool. I love just experimenting with new things.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for something new.
Yeah, you
something new to do, because I get bored really fast.
You've been in the exhibition side for a very long time.
Yes.
I mean, this is something that you're sort of used to. The build up, the show, the cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it lends to your experimentation that allows you to have that longevity. You know, it's not just the same thing over and over again. I mean, you really have all over LA.
No.
You know, I've obviously made your way up here.
Yes.
I'm always seeing your different shows that are coming in, and I'm always so proud of you, because I just love the work so much. You know,
thank you.
I've told you this a million times. Like, you always have a home here. This is this is your home. It's a but I feel like there's a and maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I do feel there's a little bit of a resurgence to see things in person again.
Yeah, it's happening. And thank goodness too, because it took a long time after COVID.
Yes.
Man, that just took the wind out of everybody's sails.
It did.
And a lot of galleries closed.
Yep.
And even in the few years afterwards, it was like there was no traffic. And this went for all the galleries.
Yes.
And it took a long time for people to start coming back.
Yeah.
I think they just got out of the habit or something, you know?
I think it was a combination of and I've been in the gallery world a long time too, not just me with my own establishments, but growing up in the gallery setting, I've seen that iteration of got to walk in and show the portfolio, and and then as a young artist doing the same. I think what ended up happening is obviously the technology changed everything. And there was so many good things about technology. But one of the things that happened, especially during COVID, was because everyone was shut in and we all got used to buying stuff on our phones because we can't go out or whatever.
Right.
I think people got that they were getting those, whatever the dopamine is they call it, but they were getting whatever they needed artistically just from their phone. And then there's been this shift where it's information overload and people want to go out again.
I think so, definitely. And I think there's a shift too in the art being created right now too. I saw your podcast with your younger artists, your watercolorist, and also with the trio,
the Last Place Art Club,
and you were speaking to them about the trends, with the younger artists. And it's not only with the younger artists, but I think that there's now a desire to go back to more of the hand made, authentic. And I think AI is really getting, I don't know, people are tiring of it already.
It's being shunned.
It's, yes.
Yeah, it's being shunned.
And in some of the work that I do, like my series Closer to the Sun, where I put together these elements and compositions, but I do it myself. There's no AI involved. These are all a combination of images that I have taken.
Yeah.
And I put them together meticulously. And it's hard because sometimes I wonder, was somebody looking at that and saying, oh, it's just AI? Because, I've got a globe here and then reflections here and this and that.
Well, and it's my job as a gallerist to make sure that they know these are, yes, it is a digital collage, but it is done by the human hand, right?
Right.
It's not a prompt. And these are her photos.
Yes.
These are her photos that she's collaging.
All the elements are mine.
It's not just I'm going to get a Google image and I like it and then I'll prompt it to this. No, these are it's all of your photography that is then assembled into, what your brain is thinking.
Yeah.
And I think I personally don't feel like we had anybody that initially thought, oh, just AI. Yeah. I think it's just it may just be in their brain that they are looking for something that they think is going to be more handmade versus digitally altered. Yeah. But I have told you I still think you should get back into painting. Yeah. This might be the transition time that you need.
Yes.
And it's not, I still love your photographs. I still think that you have that painterly composition eye to your photos, which is why the architecture pieces are so great. The colors are turned and it has a sense of, it isn't really surrealism, but it's almost a little bit like lends into the sci-fi of like the Palm Springs.
Right, the Asteroid City aspect. That was a great title for that show. I was so thrilled about that.
Well, I like my pop references.
Yeah, and that couple that I was speaking to last night, I mean, they loved the treatment of those mid-century modern forms.
Did you get their info?
They're here all the time, though.
Okay, well, we need to find out who they are so we can reach out to them.
You know who it is? It's the curator for the Government Center.
Oh, Todd. I know Todd.
Yes.
Oh,
his wife. Yeah.
Todd's listening. I'm calling you today.
Yeah,
he's super cool.
Yeah, they're great guy.
Their house is like a museum.
Right.
I had.
He's an artist, and I think she is too. Right?
Yes, they both create art as well.
I think she's fiber art.
She does fibers. He does more kind of sculpture-y kind of stuff. But they're both big avid collectors as well. Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting. I think that there's a lot of artists that are collectors. There are just collectors, and they're phenomenal. Those are
I have been a collector myself.
Yeah.
Yes. When I could afford it.
Yes.
Now I can't.
Yeah. Now you just look at all the ones you already have.
Right.
It's just I think that if you're a creative person, you're going to gravitate, to making or absorbing. Yeah. And it's a cycle. It
you need
ends.
it in your environment.
Yes.
You see, it's that need, and you don't want to be looking at all of your stuff, so you. Just,
I don't. Yeah. No. I mean, I have some of my own stuff, but I prefer others. Oh, yeah. And I guess I get lucky too because I get, I'm looking at art constantly. Right. So it's something that is,
that's true.
I notice a lot of, I see when trends are going or, building and dying. And it is funny. We just have that conversation, 2 months ago. And I said, I think it's going to have its day and then it's going to come down. And it really is true that people are starting to.
I think people are rebelling,
stepping back.
Yeah. Yep. And you were talking about these young artists, and they're getting, a lot of them are doing landscape and realism.
Yeah, the plein air is a big thing.
Yeah.
I love it though. It needs to come back.
Definitely.
Yeah, we can't.
It's time.
I don't feel like we can lose. You always think of the younger generation be so reliant on technology, and then I love to see. I think maybe that's why I get so excited because you're right. Yes. It's not just with younger people. There's plenty of older artists been doing plein air forever. They're like, what? This isn't new. We've been here forever.
Exactly.
I think for someone like me, because I see so much, it's so nice to see that a younger generation is going to embrace it and it's not going to get lost.
Yes.
And I think that's where my excitement comes from, is we're still going to have traditional painters. We're still going to have traditional mediums. And there are people who are going to really educate and excel at those.
Yeah. It's not only art too, it's music as well.
It is music. Yeah, you're right.
And people going back, buying cassette players and things like that. You know, it's a real desire, I think, to get away from the manufactured and the digital and I think there's a real desire for more authenticity.
Well, it is a difference from the mass produced or mass absorption of everything. I just had a conversation last night about this gal come in. She loved the Kenyan pieces. She was
great.
Her favorite was the octopus though.
Oh yeah.
But we got to talking about the Kenyan pieces, and she loved the hair, and she was obsessed with those. And I said, oh yeah, this is great. And she goes, gosh, I would love to be able to. She wanted a particular piece, right? Hopefully it goes through. But she goes, I love having stuff in my house that nobody else has.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to provide, we're trying to provide things that no one else has.
Yes.
You can go to Target, you can go to Home Goods, you can go to these places and you can get a print of something.
Yeah.
It might look good over the couch for a day, but it's not individualism,
Right.
and I think that is what we're seeing, is this wave coming in of going, I don't want what everyone else has.
Right.
I want original artwork. I want vintage clothes, right?
Yes.
I want singer-songwriter music. I don't want to be sucked into the phone.
Right.
And the phone and the computer is also, not only are they stealing your info, but they're selling your info, and then they're charging you for your info, right? Like you get sucked into these subscriptions, and I think people are just they're done. So I love to see this resurgence. I mean, it's something that, I mean, I almost feel like you see it more than I do. You're going to you're at every show. Every time I see you, you're like, we're going to this show, we're going to that show, we're going, and it's a testament, I think, to who you are as a not only an artist but a supporter of the arts as well.
Yeah, I like to support other artists.
Yeah, you're very.
I've always been keen on that.
It's probably one why you're one of my favorite people when it comes. You are. I love your. It's the energy. It is the work, but it's really a combination of the both. It's when you like something, it's easier to love it when you like the person as well. It's not. I've seen art I love, and then maybe when you meet the personality in person, I'm kind of like it's hard to. And that's just the nature of people and business and stuff. So, but you definitely have made it. I've always loved working with you, and I really hope that I hope this consistency keeps up, and we're able to, get you into more.
Yeah,
more homes.
Yes, that'd be great. That would be wonderful.
Buy Janet Milhomme, everyone. we want to sell Janet Milhomme. I thought it was a. Again, lovely show. Happy to have you.
Yeah, it's a great show.
I know I always feel like we're always doing stuff, but what else are you working on? I know you always have other stuff going too.
What am I working on right now? Architecture, more architecture.
Are you shooting more?
I love.
Are you shooting more? What are you shooting right now?
Buildings, angles, whatever.
Local, or are you going to a spot?
Depends where I am.
Wherever
I am.
Okay.
Well,
I know you like Palm Springs. That's why I was wondering if you're.
Yeah, we're definitely planning to go back and do more of that. Yeah, conceptual work. I always like the conceptual work, and storytelling. I think that comes from my journalistic background as a writer. That has always influenced my photography, though, my conceptual work, because I kind of like to tell stories with my art. And one of the very first series that I did was called Edges of Memory. It was all about how we remember things, and how our emotions influence how we remember things in our lives, and how we recall certain events or people or whatever. And so I use different techniques to give certain atmosphere to the works, and pretty much like to tell stories. I did one image of a child going out a door and turning back and looking back, and I gave like a tint to that photo, and and it's called When She Turned, They Were Gone. And it was not long after my mom had passed, you know, and it was just this sense of how time passes so quickly, you know.
Yeah.
And I know, an appreciation of the moment, and also of how quickly time passes and people, you know, leave our lives,
Yeah.
you know, and just a lot of images like that, you know, of children, or, you know, people and various places that I used various techniques to give it, you know, that sort of atmosphere of the past or whatever. And that it's still kind of a favorite of mine, but I haven't shown it for a while now,
Yeah.
you know. But I always think about kind of telling a story with whatever I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know. Even if it's abstract, you know, it still says something,
Right.
you know. That's the one thing about art that's so incredible, is what people bring to art, the viewer.
Yeah.
It's when someone looks at a piece of art, everybody sees something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because you bring your past experiences with you everywhere you go, and it affects your perception,
Mm-hmm.
how you see things, how you see the world. And particularly when you look at art, everyone sees something different in a piece of art because they're bringing their own experiences to that work.
Yeah.
And that's what's so neat about it. And I try not to over-explain my work for that reason, because you really want people to have their own interpretation of what you've done.
Yeah, I think everyone brings, like, the viewership definitely brings, everyone has their own emotion, and everyone has their own reaction to it.
Yeah.
I actually typically, I feel with some of the artists that I'll, especially recently, because everyone's trying to break, how do I get into a gallery? How do I do this? How do that? So one of the things that I tell people is I do think it's important to have an expectation of your viewership, meaning, like, you already know it's subjective and people are going to feel any way they want about it.
Yeah.
But have an expectation so that you can have those conversations, because the way somebody receives your work may not be the way that you're trying to convey.
Right.
And it's not you're not necessarily trying to change their mind, but I think it opens a dialogue for people, and they're able to understand you as an artist or understand your artwork better, regardless of their, you know, own interpretation of it. I think it can go either way. I think you can just leave, you can put it on the wall and not say a word about it. But I do think that there is a space for somebody understanding the work.
Yeah, I do too. As a matter of fact, people ask questions all the time.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's what you want.
That's what you want.
When someone comes to you and asks questions about your work, it's just real. Yeah. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And lots of times they'll say, well, you know, what's the idea behind this? Or what were you thinking? Or how did you make it? You know?
Yeah.
And they are looking a little bit for answers too, not only to see as you know, the way they see it, but they want to know more about it. They want to know what was in the artist's mind.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
And sometimes that meshes with how they were thinking, and sometimes it doesn't. You say, you know, even I have done it myself as a viewer. You say, wow, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's definitely room for that. And it's great when people ask and want to talk to an artist about their work.
I think, well, I mean, especially I think people do want to understand, because art can be so intimidating.
Yes.
So if they come in and, oh, there's a piece on the wall and, oh, the price is too high, I don't know, or I don't know, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, those are always fun. So I do enjoy the questions. And then I do think when somebody gets it in their mind, but also can understand the process, you know, your perspective on whatever it is you're projecting, that allows them to be more comfortable to make that investment. You know, somebody might like something, but if they're unsure, because if it's gonna hang in the house, they want to be able to tell their friends about it. Definitely. So I think there's a space for people they want to understand the art that they're purchasing beyond just, I like the way it looks.
Exactly.
And I do think it's important for them to be able to have those conversations with the artists themselves too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
which is why you're always at the openings.
Yeah, I like to talk to people.
Yeah.
I like to be behind the camera more than in front, but yeah, I love talking with people. They're so interesting. People are fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am happy. And I feel like since even in the last, we've talked about this, even just this year, I feel like this area here for this location has really changed, and we have so many more new people coming in. We have so many people that are so interested in what we're doing, and it really, I feel like we've had, maybe that's part of the resurgence I'm talking about, is there's people that really want to come in and see it, and there are fascinating people here. There's more people moving here than ever.
Yes.
With the new building that they're doing. We have some of the older, clientele that they're still coming in. But I think that it is I think it's a space where people can come and understand the art.
I think so too. And having the studios is great.
Yeah,
it really is, because it's like a living art space.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. It's like a living art space, right?
It is.
I mean, it's not just a gallery. Galleries can be intimidating.
Yes,
I've been intimidated. You go into a Beverly Hills gallery or something, and you feel like, you don't know what to say or how to act. So, it's kind of weird. It's just like, it can be intimidating. But I'm not sure why that is, but a space like this is so welcoming, because you see the artists at work, and they've got maybe their jeans on and they're covered with paint, and their hair's all messed up or whatever, and it's a living space, and it's a welcoming spae, and I think it's really of a great benefit to the gallery. Yeah.
I always have to tell, I feel like I always have to explain if I'm working with a new artist and it's like the week before the show, I swear to you, it doesn't look like this at the show. Like, things are a mess, it's like packed up things over here, incoming things here, and so it's always a working space for sure. But then, we seem to make it, we seem to clean it up good.
Oh, yeah, you guys do a great job.
Yeah.
I saw your podcast last night. Another podcast about nothing.
I told her how she made the comment how when you and I are talking, it's like Seinfeld, because it's just a show about nothing.
Seinfeld and Elaine, show about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was my immediate reaction. I laugh almost every time you two come on, right? It's like this little comedy skit. And it's just really hilarious. And really, it is a podcast about nothing.
It kind of is. Yeah. It kind of is. I mean, the reason to start this was just to simply have the conversations about the show, and we are always so exhausted after the show. So how do other people feel? Like, how do you feel after a show? Like, I know you've had these, but when you're making a body of work and you're trying to put it out in the atmosphere, and there's a build up to it, and then you have the show, like, how do you feel the next day? Are you exhausted? Or are you?
I used to be. Yeah. Not anymore. Now I have fun.
Yeah.
It used to be, when I first started out and I was showing, I mean, I would get almost sick to my stomach before I went to the opening, because I knew I'd have to speak to people or explain my work, and I didn't know how to do that. And I was very intimidated, and it was exhausting for me. It was like a performance or something, doing a play.
Yeah.
And it was exhausting, but it's not anymore to me. Now it's just fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy coming to the openings. I enjoy talking with people. I really enjoy seeing other artwork. I look forward to seeing all the other works in the show. I get so excited because, I see what you put up before the show. When you're putting the advertising for the show out, promotion.
Yeah.
And I see the works coming up, and I think, oh man, I love that. I can't wait to see it, because that it's so different to see a work in person.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's totally different. The octopus, for example, I loved it when you put it online. I thought, wow, that is really great.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so surrealistic. I love surrealistic.
Yeah.
And I have a few surrealistic works. I haven't shown them or put them online or anything yet, but I dabble with
So you're hiding things from me again.
I'm hiding.
Okay. Just making sure I got that right. I just want to make sure I heard it. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I want to see it.
I love surrealism. Yeah. And I'm experimenting with it and kind of dabbling in a little bit. And I'd like to do more and then I think I probably only have about 5 or 6 pieces right now, but yeah. And anyway, I saw that, but man, when you look at it in person with that technique, you know, which now is it's getting used a little bit more.
You were saying last night it's very popular.
It's getting very popular with the use of the printing on vellum with the either gold or silver leaf, you know, behind it. And I mean, it just makes that image pop.
Shout out to Peter Sandbeck. We've been talking about his octopus nonstop.
Yes, so right, exactly.
But yeah, I felt the same way because you just see these digitally when, you know, you're applying, and then I'm trying to do my research on. I'm looking at I do Instagram a lot because I feel like that's always a place to see a real kind of a real version of it if it's hanging on the wall. And I read what he had wrote about the silver leaf, but it just did not translate because it never does.
Yeah.
Right. Something like that metallic never translates. No. You always have to see it in person. And then when I got them, which was a little bit, I think I had told you, it was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But we got them here. They arrived, and then but what really did when Rodrigo did the lighting, because I knew where they were going to go and I was trying to finagle it, and then as soon as he was able to adjust the lighting on them, then they just come off the wall. It has a whole 3D effect.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is like I think it's this experimentation with, it's not just photography. You know, it's not something you can just do with your phone.
Exactly.
This is an application. It's a true art medium.
It is.
And
it's
stunning.
Like the handmade. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah. And coming into a show, seeing art in person, it's just nothing like it. These pieces here, they're flat, you know, when you see them online, you know.
Yeah.
But when you see them in person, then you know, you see where
it's
you
the
have
texture.
There's texture.
Yeah.
There's extra color. There's the glow of the gold leaf, and
you can stand to one side and see the reflection.
You can, whereas you don't have that, you know, in the digital.
No.
And it's okay because, you know, I mean, you want to have a preview of what you have in the show, and there are lots of people who can't make it here.
Yeah.
And if they like something, and they, you know, they might buy it online. But man, you know, seeing the art in person is so important.
I think experiencing it in person, I am glad that it's coming back and people are more interested.
Yes.
And it is something that we're able to, you know, I hate to say we weathered the storm, but in a way we did.
You did.
Here. We're doing our 15-year anniversar this year.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
We can have a big bash?
That we've been talking about it.
Oh.
Yeah, we're trying to decide what a big bash looks like.
Okay.
We don't know what that looks like yet. I'm used to very tiny bashes.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see what happens. 2 hour increment bashes. Okay. But we definitely want to celebrate 15 years.
Well, you've done the 2 little fairs. Those were all day.
And
the winter fair and the spring fair.
Yes,
right?
They were really good. And I was gonna do one for summer, but it just got to. There was no way we were gonna make it happen. So I think we've got another opportunity possibly in fall. We were thinking Oktoberfest because it's art and ale. So so probably do that. I am wanting to try to switch it up. I'm not sure I want to have it again. I'm not sure if we'll do it here again or if we want to try to do a little bit bigger venue. It's a little bit.
Right, you were talking about that.
Yeah. So, but you know how we're always talking and doing stuff. So, but the fairs were cool and they were all day. They were exhausting.
I'm sure they were. I thought about that because I only came for, you know, a couple of hours myself.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, wow, these guys are here all day until, what was it, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I mean, it was 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's
a long time.
So that's why we're not sure. Like, you know, but we know we want to celebrate, and you know, Midtown is so great here, and things are lively again. So
I love it.
I think we will do something. But we're just not sure what that looks like yet. You know, but we got to start planning because it's going to be August.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to that.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you for being in the show.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to promote? But you know, we want to send you to your website. What's your website?
www.janetmilhomephoto.com.
There you go.
I know, so long, right?
It's okay. All right. So, yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you for the
I think that's it.
invitation. All right.
He's laughing at us.
I know. Turn it off.